Hi, Scott here. Hope you're well. Hope you had a great week in the markets last week. It was a bit tricky, but there were some nice positions that played out. This week, we've got a few news events. Want to be aware of those. Go to the Forex Factory calendar if you want to look at the news events when they're happening. So it's often a little bit dangerous to trade through news events, depending, of course, how important they are and how much impact they're likely to have on the market. There's a few things on offer today and setting up this week, so we'll jump straight into the charts and we'll have a look. Okay, so let's start with Aussie Swiss. We'll go to the higher time frames. Here we go, monthly, weekly, daily. We've got a very strong downtrend that seems to be reversing at this major level. Deceleration is not the best. It's been slowing down, bullish day on Friday. Let's see what the lower time frames give us. We'll just zoom in on the 1 hour. That's where most of the information is we need. So we have this little trend line here. We have an older trend line up here. But we have a break of this trend line. We have a break of the 1 hour 50, which is this red line. So that's good. If that breaks up here somewhere, if it does stop here, pulls back to the 1 hour 50 and the 382 and my fib from the lows to the highs, then that could be a good IBO trading up to around here somewhere, just the 4 hour 50 perhaps. And that could be a nice little trade, a couple of percent in the offer there if that plays out. Yeah, Aussie Swiss, nice one to start with. Let's go back to the next one, CAD Yen. So CAD Yen, another yen. We've had lots of action from the yen last week, starting to play out. The yen finally getting some strength. So we've obviously got a few bearish days happening here. We finally hit the daily 20, which is blue line. So we're at the daily 20, the daily 50 is a bit further below us. And also there's this major support level now, which has been broken and will be retested, you'd expect. So we need to be cautious of that daily 20. It's already been there, visited on Friday, stopped, maybe it's starting to pull back now. So we've got an obvious reversal in place. We've got a break of the 1 hour 50, the red line, the 4 hour 50, which is the blue line. And we've broken those. It hasn't pulled back yet since the break of the 4 hour 50. And looks like it's going to do that probably today. We do have a trend line in play here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches maybe. So it's reasonably strong. You'll need to break that to pull back to the 1 hour 50 or the 4 hour 50. It seems like a strong trend though. So there will be, we've had the IBO from the 1 hour 50 break and retest up here. But we could take this as a 4 hour 50 retest, even if it only goes back as far as the 1 hour 50. So the 4 hour 50 is quite a way behind, which is not ideal. The daily pivots are basically where it is now. So it may even just bounce off the daily pivot and just keep on going down. Got to keep an eye on that one. Not an ideal setup because to pull back to the 1 hour 50, we should break this trend line. And the 4 hour 50 is now a bit too far behind. But worth keeping an eye on that one. There's a better one here, which is a Swiss yen. It's better because as the yen has been gaining strength, the Swiss has had strength as well. So again, we've got this topping process up here. We've got some good deceleration, some bearish candles on the daily. If you look on the lower time frames, so we've had a breakdown of the 1 hour 50, break through here, already hit the 4-hour 50, this blue line, and is likely to pull back. So fibs aren't really that great here because of where this trend started up here. There's no other place really to start the fib. So there we go, top to bottom. 382 lines up reasonably well with the 1-hour 50 if it does pull back soon. Obviously, the longer it takes to pull back, the further this 1-hour 50 will be falling behind it and pulling away from the 382. So if this did pull back, I'll be waiting for it to hit the 382. Maybe break through the hour 50 just briefly. Get the 382, get some accumulation, and then trade short. So where do we trade to? Well, 4-hour 50 has already been hit, so it's an IBOC for us, trading the IBOs. The obvious target for me would be down here where these lows are. And that would give a nice healthy 2% if it did go down there. We could also do our fibs on it, and we'll probably find a 382 lines up probably around here somewhere. So when we get to this level of S1, we'll just do that very briefly, just so you can see what I'm talking about. We do a fib extension of this wave 3. It did pull back to the 382. So this is wave 1, wave 2 pull back, wave 3, wave 4 pull back to set up for us for the trade, and then a wave 5. So wave 5, the target probably be 618. But there's plenty more to go in this. If you look at the daily, you can easily pull back to the daily 20 or even further. And the daily 20 is this red line, which is right down here. So there's lots of potential, but being a wave 5, you need to be careful. So keep an eye on if you did enter here, keep an eye on it as it goes through S1. There'll be some resistance there or support, and there'll be some at the 618 as well for fib extension. And otherwise, the obvious target for me would be down here somewhere. Or if you're more of an aggressive trader and you like to do the longer trades, then you could even trade all the way down to the daily 50. That'd be also a healthier profit on that one, but more risk of being stopped out on the way. All the way it goes, right? Okay, that's good. So next one we go to is EuroCAD. EuroCAD starting to like the daily price action. It's been a downtrend for a long time. We finally got a lot of support on this level, which it did break through briefly and came back above it. If you look at our Elliott wave, starting from the bottom, wave 1 pull back to the daily 50, wave 2 pull back to this trend line, which goes way back to earlier this year. And then this is the wave 3 in play now. I did a fib extension on it, so we've got 1.272 be the minimum for wave 3, and it's a fair way up from where we are now. So there's plenty of room on the daily to trade this longer. Lower time frame is not quite as pretty. We've got a big bullish day on Friday, Thursday and Friday, and then it's already pulled back to the pivot. Have we had an IBO? Well, we've had lots of not really an IBO because the 4-hour 50 is behind us, but we do have opportunity here for a pip snatcher at this pivot, entering the pivot. Whoops, what am I doing? 1-hour 50 is a bit behind us, which is not ideal. It needs to catch up a bit. And being EuroCAD, it's not really an Asia session kind of pair, so that'll probably play out in the next 6 to 8 hours. And you can get your 1-to-1 for highs. So you need to do that. Put it down to here somewhere, enter here as it pulls back. Hopefully 1-hour 50 will start catching up. And you can even take that up to a 4-to-1 for a higher profit target if you want to do a hyper trade. So there are opportunities there perhaps. Pound Kiwi. So Pound Kiwi, we've had this kind of choppy action for the last few weeks. It was getting bullish last week, hit this trend line that goes way back. It's a bit of a funny trend line. It does break through a number of places, but it's been respected many times. So it's obviously on the big traders charts because it got there on Friday, doji on Thursday, and a very bearish candle on Friday. So a big breakdown on Friday. So that implies we're going to get more of a pullback. We look at the MACD here. We've got a MACD divergence between these two lows, implying higher prices. But the RSI has already pulled back past the halfway line. It's already had its pullback. Maybe that's all we're going to get. We don't know. But it could be going short after that very bearish candle on Friday. So if we look at the lower time frames, Elliott wave, so at the top, wave 1, wave 2, and this is wave 3, which means we've got wave 4 and wave 5 to go. So wave 4 will be the pullback to 1 hour 50, just breaking the 4 hour 50 briefly. This fib is taken from the top of this high here, one that broke the 4 hour 50. And the 382, the 1 hour 50 will catch up. The daily 50 is just behind us, and the daily 20 is here somewhere. So we're stalling at the daily 20. Hopefully it'll pull back through the 4 hour 50, maybe even come back to the daily just to retest it. Now give us some spring loading to take the trade down for wave 5. Remember wave 5, we'll do a fib extension. Got a bit of a gap on the open, but we won't hold that too much into that. If you do reject the 382 and the 1 hour 50 up here, then the fib extension goes to 618, extension goes to where S1 is on the daily pivots. So that would be the price target, or it might even pull back to the daily 50, the green line, which is what possible, in which case the fib extension is just above that pivot. So we would have a trade into around here somewhere, stop down about here somewhere, and it's not going to work, is it? Going the wrong way. Okay, let's go short. Okay, so into here, stop behind here, and so if we go to 618, we've got a couple of percent on there. So our S1 there, if we go down to the lows, a bit more aggressive, we can take it down there for 3.5%. So it's a good opportunity there. Safest bet would be to trade down to 618, which still gives 2%. So that's a nice possibility there for trade. Kiwi Swiss. Okay, so we've had a really bearish price action in the last few weeks. Is it finally stalling out this major level? There's not much price action down here. If we look at the monthly, we had a bit here back in, must be the COVID time, early 2020. And then right back here, 2015. And a spike down here in 2011. So very little price action at these lows. So there's not much to go on for a very good support level. But this one does seem to be this low here, slightly below this low here, and not that one. So this could be a good level. We look at some reversal price action. We had a very bearish day there, some deceleration, a bearish day on Thursday, and a bounce back on Friday. So we need some kind of proof that this has changed direction. We're now looking for a long trade. We've got a long trend line here. How far back does that go? Fair away by the looks of it. Not too far. A couple of weeks, still a pretty strong trend line. And then there's a parallel one which seems to have been holding price action again for a while. But that broke through on Friday. Friday? Yes, it's been Friday. And we're now looking for a retest of the 1 hour 50, which could be happening today. That will imply that the trend has changed. We're now looking for an uptrend. Do have high highs and high lows. On the 1 hour, we've got high here, and then we've got a higher high. So we've got a higher high on the 1 hour. So we have higher lows. Yeah, kind of. Is that a double bottom or is that a higher low? So Kiwi USD. So we may have higher lows, or if not, we've got a double bottom, triple bottom even. So it looks like the trend has changed. So we're looking for a retest of the 1 hour 50, which is basically where the fib lines up at the moment. From these lows, the 382 at the fib. Trade up to the 4 hour 50 is the cautious price target. And that could be a nice little trade in there. So it's definitely one worth keeping an eye on. There's a couple of others which are just starting to present or starting to form, and some breakouts. Again, this is the Aussie USD. We're looking at the daily chart. We've got a double bottom. We've got a big MACD divergence. This high, this low here is much higher than this low. This price action is the same. It's the same. So that's a big MACD divergence. So we're looking for some kind of, again, a few strong bearish days, but low test on Friday. That's looking good for a possible changing of trend. Because of this crazy price action last week from the news, that it's not made it much easier to do the chart, the trend lines and stuff. But we do have a trend line formed here in the last couple of days or so, which is respected, and then it broke through on Friday. We've now just got a breakthrough of the 1 hour 50. So I have to see how that plays out, but that's definitely on my radar now because 1 hour 50 is broken, trend line is broken. This will give us a higher high and a higher low. We've got a kind of double bottom here, not really a high low yet. Or maybe you can count this as a low. Yeah, so the trend seems to have changed, and there's some possible trade setting up there later today. Kiwi CAD. Kiwi CAD. So again, we've got this. We've got a lower low on the price action, but a much higher low on the MACD. So MACD divergence, implying higher prices. We've got some deceleration here the last few days. A big bullish day on Friday, and maybe we'll get some continuation of that today. All right, and this is an interesting one because we have this trend line that goes way back to early September. So we're talking nearly 3 weeks. And it's been respected very well. We don't know more. And is respected on Friday. Got that rejected on Friday, pull back. That's trying to get through again. So if it does break through that, pull back to make what we're looking for here is it's a break through this trend line, which looks like what we're doing right now. And then pulling back to 4 hour 50 and the 1 hour 50 as they come together in a few hours time, and then trading up to maybe the daily 50, which is green line. So that could be a possible trade setting up sometime later today or early tomorrow. Worth keeping an eye on. As a Kiwi, these are blue, so my gold ones are ones which are basically ready to pop, ready to pull back and do an entry. The purple ones are ones that started to set up, and the blue ones are ones which may set up in the next later today or tomorrow. So what's a Kiwi? We've had, again, it's topping formation, double top, MACD, I imagine. MACD, not that clear, is it? Yes, it is. There's a MACD there, definitely. MACD divergence, definitely a lower high there with the same price, actually slightly higher highs in the price action. So that is implying we're going to get a drop in price to some extent. We had a good doji candle on Thursday and a bearish candle on Friday. There's a nice trade in there if you manage to catch it. On the hourly, we have this trend line. As soon as we're keeping Aussie Kiwi, But trend line was broken and retested on Friday, and then it played down to the 4-hour 50. So that's a nice little trade on there if you managed to catch that one. And now it's pulling back. It's early Monday morning, so it's not something I want to jump on. It's too early in the week and in the day. But I'm looking for a break of, we've had that play to the 4-hour 50. I'm waiting for break of the 4-hour 50. I'm looking for later today, maybe break the 4-hour 50. Go back. I'm running out of space here. So if we did something like that, that could be a possible trade. If it breaks through the 4-hour 50, which is this blue line, test that, 1-hour 50 will catch up, and then play that as a short trade down to the day 20 or day 50. On that one, it may happen later today, or maybe tomorrow morning. Euro Swiss, again we got the double bottom, MACD divergence, very strong. Got some bullish action on Friday, which is nice. It didn't really give a nice trade because it was a bit of a jumping around a bit on Friday night. But now we've got this very strong bullish action. We've kind of had the IBO because it broke up here and pulled back. A bit messy. So I'm waiting for it to break the 4-hour 50. 4-hour 50 is this blue line. So I'm looking for this to trade from here up here somewhere, pull back to give us a nice entry. 1-hour 50 will catch up nicely by then, and it should be a nice little trade up to the day 50 or something like that. All right, Euro Swiss, keep an eye on that one, and Euro Yen, last one we go through. Again, we got some topping action here, some good rejection this level up here, some bearish price action, and on the hourly, we're looking for a short. So what do we have? Break the 1-hour 50 up here, finally pull back. Now it's been kind of expecting this level and this 4-hour 50, so I want to see a very clear break of the 4-hour 50 and these lows before pulling back the 4-hour 50 and then having a trade short from there. So that's something that might happen late today, maybe tomorrow morning. See how that one plays out. Yes, so there you go. That's all my ones I've seen. There's a few more down here as well. You're welcome to check those out. They are possible setups, but I just don't like them as much, not as clean. So yeah, you're welcome to check those out if you want to. Okay, let's see if my video is going to work. Good. So you found it useful. Hope you found some value with that. Keep an eye on those trades. Hopefully a few good things this week. There are a few news events which I'm going to keep an eye on because that can spoil all our fun when they do some crazy moves. But have a good week trading. I wish you all the best. I'll see you tomorrow. See you later.